But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a damn about the cash we're spending. With the time we got, we choose to play it on the go, to stay out on the run. We all high, wild, and handsome. Ain't telling you what's right or wrong or what to choose. Hey, but this is how we do. This is how we do. Out on the dirt ovals we play, life in the bright lights with no shade. So letting her go, letting her rip, letting her fly, tossing her in sideways, living the life, letting her ride, eyesight winning to die. Cross her up on the cushion, crossing the line, cause some drama and some bullshit they didn't like. And if they don't like the move, then we're ready to fly. But this is how we ride, this is how we do. Riding mud, sliding up higher in the groove. Don't give a
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today. We are here today with the hair, with the monstrosity of whatever this is. I don't know what you call this hairdo. I really don't. I know that the camera is not kind of centered, but hey, we can fix it. Hold on, let me get this Teletubby look down. There's a bunch of things happening in the world today. You know, I wanted to open up this show and be like, you know, it's a little too damn quiet out there in the world. And hold on, before I talk about this, I got to put these on. But anyways, there's a lot of situations occurring in the racing world. Behind the scenes, I feel like it's just too damn quiet. You know, I put the little picture of the raptor jumping out onto the hunter from Jurassic Park 1, and everyone kind of has seen that, especially if you know about dirt track racing because you were born in the 80s or 90s. You know, most new people have never heard of it because the 80s, 90s era was prior to the Code Trickle era that destroyed the sport. So at the end of the day, I put that scene in there because, you know, it's a great example of how business works and how promotion and media and marketing and the show kind of works. There's a lot of symbolism in that movie, actually. You know, it shows how, you know, pay attention to this, pay attention to this, pay attention to this. Meanwhile, we're coming to get you. Meanwhile, while you're over here worried about this, we got this plan coming. Got this happening. We got this scheduled race about to hit the forefront. We got this, that, and we're over here. We're the real. This is the actual plan going. While you're watching over here, here's what's happening. Bam, and it's just a little too. I feel like it's a little too quiet right now. It's just a little too quiet. It's like that moment where he's like, I got him. Everything's everybody's being quiet. All of a sudden, pow. What just happened there? And of course, PRI, I'm talking about this whole sprint car world in a way. And of course, PRI is right around the corner. And then followed up by the Gateway Dirt Nationals, which I think I'm going to attend the Gateway Dirt Nationals, possibly only the final night. We'll see. We'll see how the whole industry goes here. We'll see. But I as of right now, I do think I am going to attend the Gateway Dirt Nationals. But it would be more than likely for one night, maybe two, not all three, not all four, whatever you got going on down there. But it should be fun. It's the late model racing. And some people always ask me, how is it like? Is it just better than the Chili Bowl? The accommodations, the infrastructure. How about that? That's the best thing. The one thing that dirt track racing kind of lacks. The infrastructure of the Gateway Dirt Nationals, I mean, blows the Chili Bowl out of the water. I mean, there's no comparison. It's like comparing, you know, Boone Speedway to the Daytona International Speedway. I mean, which is better infrastructure-wise? But you can go to Daytona and fall asleep watching races, where you could go to Boone and you better stay awake because there's actually action happening every second of the way, you know, or Marshalltown. I'm just saying, there's certain facilities out there like Gateway to Chili Bowl, that, the infrastructure, the facility blows it out of the water, even though it's racing, blows it out of the water. But the actual racing on the track, Gateway, in my opinion, does not compare at all to Chili Bowl. Gateway, racing wise, hopefully they can fix it. I think, once again, I've been trying to push this whole build a board track, make board tracks great again. Take whatever material, the anti-inflammatory wood-based material that they use to build like half pikes and stuff for the X Games and skateboarders and all that. Build you a little track that you could just haul in there with the truck in separate pieces and put together, and it just latches and it's fine. And you can build grooves, build banking, make it even, whatever you want to do. Kills the dust. Obviously, you'll still be sliding around, won't eat the tires as much. You may develop grooves a little bit differently because then you would lay rubber and it'd be more so like an asphalt situation. But I still think, when you look at the racing product that you get at Gateway, and I'm not being mean, I mean, it's a great idea, a great concept, and the people putting the track together put in a ton of work and effort. I'm not discounting how hard that is. But the result is still, most of the time, at least from what I've seen personally, is modifieds with 4 feet fucking wheels off the ground and right front chassis frames being snapped in half. I've literally seen the frames in the pits after a modified. This is for modifieds in particular because they still have the standard front clips. They're not a full-blown racing chassis like the late models. They have the standard front clips, and those front clips dig into that racetrack when it lands, and I've seen those things snap. Now, it's been worked on over the years and stuff like that, but I'm just saying, most of the time, the track surface is questionable, and it may be because, if it was just a midget situation and it was a put-together track, midgets are very light vehicles. They don't dig into the dirt much, and maybe that is a big reason as to why the Chili Bowl racing surface is so nice, is so great, is because they don't have these big, heavy late models that are so dependent on, shocks and springs and suspension that is pushing and digging the car. You've heard people say in the fender industry that these shocks make your car dig. Well, when you have a put-together racetrack and you put vehicles onto the racetrack on that put-together surface with suspension that is meant to stab into the dirt, to dig, and they're not light and they are decently heavy, you probably are going to dig up that temporary surface just a little bit. And maybe that's one of the bigger issues as to why the Chili Bowl racing and its surface can stay so smooth and put on such a good event, whereas the Gateway Dirt Nationals surface kind of gets dug up and becomes a little bit of a Baja show, and that kind of seems to lean towards the more extreme style of racers where they just go out there and they just, I've been told you bring your car that you raced and wrecked and didn't think you were going to use anymore. The late model and modify guys, throughout the years now, the last couple years, I've heard when we wreck a car really bad, we don't just junk it. We put it to the side, and that's what we designate as our Gateway Dirt Nationals car, especially when it comes to the frame of the vehicle, modified guys in particular. But late model guys, too, you got to bent this or bent that or hurt this or hurt. Chassis usually junk, you throw it away. No, not anymore. They are saving that car to run at Gateway because of the situation I'm describing to you. So probably not their fault. Like I said, respect to the crews. It's a lot of effort, a lot of hard work. But I've had that question from several people. Which is better, Gateway Dirt Nationals or the Chili Bowl? The infrastructure of Gateway is pretty close to Boone Speedway or Marshall or your local racetrack, we'll say that, to Daytona. But then in the same light, the action on the racetrack, the enjoyment, the actual racing craft, the actual excitement, the actual racing happening within the infrastructures, Chili Bowl is almost, honestly, what Chili Bowl does is almost as big of a gap from your local racetrack to Daytona in the infrastructure part in the racing category. Like, I don't know who's went to Chili Bowl, paid attention to it. Obviously, on camera, it looks like they're going really slow. But when you go there, the racing there is pretty damn wah. I'm just saying. And Midgets put on a damn good show because in the Chili Bowl, you actually get grown adults racing them. World Outlaw guys will be there. Top echelon racers will just be there. And it makes it really good and grand and exciting racing. But it is really good. It's hard to compare, prior to Gateway. People would say Chili Bowl was the best racing action of the year, period. Not even comparing it to another race, above Knoxville, above Eldora. But they would say that the action you could see in that building is above all. So just sitting here saying that, Chili Bowl is so much better than Gateway. I mean, a lot of people have said Chili Bowl's much better than everything for a long time. I mean, it's opinionated based, obviously. But the infrastructure at Gateway is amazing. Like, there's not a bad seat in the house. It is somewhat of a show because of what you see there and how the track ends up being and the aggressive, crazy, psychotic driving style that you need to have to succeed there. You see guys do stuff that you just don't see anywhere else. So the uniqueness of what you see there, the atmosphere that you have there, the comfortability, I say, would be the best thing. The only thing that is negative in the comfortability department would be going to the pits and to the grandstands. You kind of have to walk a quarter mile. I mean, it's not that bad, but I mean, if you're sitting on the front straightaway, for instance, at Gateway, it will take you about 10 to 15 minutes, about that, maybe 20 if you get hung up, to go to the pitting area. Just walking, because you have to go down some stairs. You have to raise your wrist to people who don't even know what this dirt track thing is. You have to hopefully get by them. Then you have to walk down a hallway. Then you have to walk underneath a tunnel. And then you finally get to the actual pitting area. So Gateway, like I said, that's probably the only negative as far as experience. But it is just a different deal. It is closer to monster trucks than competitive racing. It's more of a show than a race. And some people would say that that's the problem with our sport in a way, is we have ignored the show element and concentrated too much on being about a race. And we have really good racing, but our show entertainment side is kind of lacking. And that department, the Gateway Dirt Nationals, is probably at the top of the charts. I don't think I've been to another race in the country where you can actually see that much entertainment, the lights, just how they have it all set up, the intros, the giant television screens on each side, the setting. It is a really a good show. It's a better show than the Chili Bowl, but the Chili Bowl's a better race. I don't know why I really went down that, but I guess we were talking about where we were going to go and all that stuff. But back to the point here, PRI is coming up, and I just feel like it's just too quiet right now. What's about to pop? I think something's about to pop out from the High Limit or World Outlaw side, back to what I was originally talking about. That is just going to be the freaking raptor coming out of the woods. Something's about to be like, bam. And maybe they're coming after me. I don't know. Maybe that's what the deal is. I'm over here worried about talking about it, and then bam, cease and desist. Although I'm just sitting here thinking. But speaking of midgets, there is the Turkey Night Grand Prix that is happening. Last night they actually had, and I don't know who's been to Ventura. I have. It's a really good race. A really, really good race. Let's get you over here to the web. Man, these shades. I'm gonna have to start coming in here like this every day, bro. It's legitimate. Oh, hold on. Oh, just had a freeze of a situation. All right. We're back. Wow, we're having a little bit of a connection issue. I've never actually had a connection issue. But it does look like we're fluctuating, so I'm sorry that if we are having a little bit of an issue on the live broadcast right now. It does look like it's fluctuating. I don't really see anything in the comment section that alludes to or having any kind of connection issue. But regardless, this is Ventura Raceway. If you haven't been there, it's a very interesting racetrack. It's very fun to attend. You literally utilize beach parking to go to this racetrack. It is just badass. Of course, Turkey Night Grand Prix, their big event at the end of the year. It is an amazing race, I will tell you that. But it's all about the midgets. That's what Larson's there for. That's what Kofoid and all these people are there for. They're there for the midgets. But the sprint cars had their heat races and qualifying last night. And I'll tell you what, this field right here in the sprint cars is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, you have a pretty stacked field. I was impressed with Grant Sexton, who went out and I believe won the first heat race, but he nailed the laps. I mean, ran away from Sean Deskins and some other West Coast sprint car guys. But Grant Sexton, I remember meeting him when I covered the California Lightning Sprint Series, and he was a competitor in there, him and his son. He was good, but I didn't see him. If you go back and watch the first heat race from Ventura last night, I mean, he's nailing laps like he's freaking Kyle Larson or Chris Bell. I mean, he's not making a mistake. Perfect exiting off the corner, dropping it in, coming off beautifully. I mean, it looked perfection. It looked like perfection. I was so impressed by Grant Sexton in last night's heat race. Of course, you got other names in there. I mean, Kyle Edwards is there. Ryan Timms is there. Ryan Timms actually ended up winning the dash, but you got Chase Johnson. This is how the dash went. They had heat races and qualifiers, but listen to the names in the dash here. Ryan Timms won it, Chase Johnson second, Brody Fusion in third, Blake Bauer fourth, Cole Wakim in five. Six is Carson Macedo, World of Outlaw sprint car driver, championship contender this year with the World of Outlaws, is running non-wing sprint cars at Ventura. This is worth paying attention to, guys. I mean, he looked like he was very smooth, very straight. Maybe he needs to get a little bit more out of the, kick it out. Maybe just like a learning, test, and tuning session that they kind of had here. So it'll be interesting to see how he actually ends up doing tonight. And this race is definitely worth watching. And sprint cars is what I'm kind of tuning in for. I think it is going to be everybody but Larson. I don't think Larson's going to win the race. But the sprint car side of things was very entertaining last night. Ricky Lewis was also, let me go down the list. Ryan Timmons, Max Adams, Charles Davis Jr., legendary racer, and Ricky Lewis, who is the, I believe they mentioned last night, he was the winningest non-wing sprint car driver of the year, I believe. I believe that's what they said. But there's a lot of guys in here. You got AJ Hernandez is in there, Eddie Tafoya Jr. I mean, you got other guys who are off in this list. Davey Pombo. I mean, this is a really good non-wing sprint car field. And when you throw in a guy like a Ryan Timms and you throw in a guy like a Carson Macedo, especially the Macedo name, that really adds a lot of intrigue to watching this event, in my opinion. It makes it very entertaining. I was trying to see where they had the practice results. I mean, obviously you had Larson was fast, CV was fast, Avedizian was fast. Who else was up there? I believe it was Bryson. Is Bryson there? No. Somebody else was up there really fast. Just I'm working off of memory at this point. But it is going to be an entertaining race, and I think that the sprint cars are going to steal the show. This is, of course, going to be on Flow Racing tonight, the Turkey Night Grand Prix at the beautiful Ventura Raceway. If you ever do go downtown, there's a strip there. There's a lot of nice food. It is somewhat affordable for being in California. Go watch the Chili Bow go watch my video on going to the track. I actually did a documentary, a little mini doc video with Kevin Woody. If you just type in like the Chaz, Ventura, Kevin Woody or something like that, it should pop up. And it'll give you a little bit of an idea of the surrounding area and the track itself, kind of a behind the scenes kind of look onto that whole ordeal. But I'll tell you what, one of the main reasons I even went live today was because of this. This video blew my mind. It should be blowing everyone's mind. This is a video that was posted by Lora Crowley. Lora Crowley posted this video. And look at this video, guys. This is a sprint car. This isn't where the motor's at on the micro. This isn't the motor compartment of a micro that we're looking at. This is someone riding in a sprint car behind the left front tire. Now, for those who don't know the anatomy of a sprint car, this is usually where technically nothing is. Sometimes there is a kick rail. There you see Tim Crawley, legendary sprint car driver of the South. Lots of wins, lots of success in the 360 ranks over the last 30 years. Even drove a modified for in a 30,000 to win modified race. Actually did really well. Was driving it like a USAC sprint car in my opinion, but it was actually the paint scheme that he used was based on a Dwayne Hummel paint scheme, if anybody remembers that name in the late model ranks. But this is the video. They're busting a sprint car off, and Lora Crowley is riding in this position. Now, when I first saw this, I said, what in the World Series of Sidecar is this shit? Is that like an attachment to the car? And then I tagged Sidecar Racing Legends, because we all, or some people know it, actual sidecar racing is. If you don't know it, let me go ahead and pull up a sidecar racing for some people who may not have ever seen a sidecar. But this is basically what it is. They have, and they've done professional racings. I've seen these on TV. Kind of the only reason I know of them, watching them on TV. I obviously ain't went to a sidecar event. But that's kind of how they do it. You know, you got a guy off to the side in a little compartment, and it's crazy how they actually drive these things. I mean, look at them. So they'll use the weight of the guy riding. The guy riding sometimes will jump up out of his seat and lean to the left, or they'll lean to the right. I was seeing a video earlier. You could kind of see how the driver's leaning to the other side. Hold on, this one right here where he's leaning to the opposite side of the car. And this is a big thing. This is more people know of sidecar racing than sprint car racing. So we got to do something here to expand the sport. But I don't know if it's sidecar racing, but I've never seen this before. I've never seen a position of seating like this. And so I was trying to find a picture of it, and Lora Crowley, wife and mother, and obviously they got Landon Crowley coming up. I think they're going to be replacing Robbie Price on the World Outlaw Tour. That's a little bit of a hint that I saw a couple weeks ago at the Power I race. But this is what this thing looks like, guys. This is what this sidecar sprint car looks like. I would love to see a front angle, but look at this. This is insane. And it like a side by side. That looks like a side by side. It's literally like a sprint car side by side, or a sidecar. And obviously, when I shared the video, I do have Tim Crawley as a friend on the page. Of course, Tim Crawley recently taken over the promotional duties at Texarkana 67 Speedway. Potentially going to be seeing a World Outlaw event there next year. I'm hearing that that's a destination spot. You know, hearing that's a destination spot. Devil's Bow went away. They're looking around at places to go. I don't know if anybody's at Texas Motor Speedway and you have not went and tried to find a way to get the dirt from the Devil's Bow Speedway that's basically going to be removed or taken away or not utilized, and putting it on Texas Motor Speedway. That's possibly the best deal you could find to fix Texas Motor Speedway. If you don't do that by the time the High Limit Sprint Car Series go there next year, you're going to have one of the worst championship finales in sprint car racing history. I know it sounded good and all that they're going to have the finale at Texas Motor Speedway and blah, blah, blah. But if they go there, High Limit goes there, and that surface has not been attended to, it's going to be one of the worst. It's going to be an embarrassment for the High Limit Sprint Car Series. And I hope Texas Motor Speedway can take on the responsibility of that and potentially bring over that dirt from the Devil's Bow Speedway. You're not going to find better dirt than what's on that racetrack over there at Devil's Bow. It's possibly some of the best dirt in the whole entire DFW Metroplex and possibly the state. Possibly the whole entire southern region of the United States when it comes to dirt track racing surfaces. So I don't know where you're going to get dirt closer than that on that high of a quality of level. But if you don't fix it, you're screwed. Regardless, Devil's Bow is done. Obviously, Tim Crawley has 67 Speedway. I'm hearing maybe that's a swing track for the South, for the Southern swings, for the early or late races of the year. But anyways, this side-by-side thing, obviously shared it. And he came over here and commented, and look at this. Look at what Tim Crawley had to say about this. Side-by-side. I'm calling it a side-by-side sprint car or a sidecar sprint car. They can call it two-seater or whatever it is. Sure as hell don't look like that Sheldon Hoddenchild two-seater that the World of Outlaws has been parading around for 45 years. But at the end of the day, Tim Crawley says, well, Chaz, around 2006-ish. So this car is kind of old, even though it looks relatively new. Once again, we need a next-gen sprint car, but maybe this is it. Around 2006-ish, this sidecar chassis was built in my shop by me after someone similar to this years ago that was used some on the Outlaw Tour. I like the design because it utilizes the standard sprint car parts. It also keeps the ride experience more realistic versus the stretch long two-seaters. I agree completely because you can't really see where you're going in those things. He says he actually hot lapped this car on a race night at I-30 Speedway and passed a few cars in that session. If our paths were to ever cross, I would love to scare the shit out of you in this sidecar shit, or this side-by-side, a next-level side-by-side sprint car. You must wear a microphone. I want to hear you scream like a girl. I'll wear everything, but you ain't gonna scare me. You know, I've been in race cars. I've been around the racetrack. I've hot lap. My second car to ever hot lap was a damn sprint car. I mean, it was. I mean, scary about as far as like wanting to not wreck the car, but I did relatively well. So. I don't think I'm going to be scared. I mean, he could possibly try to scare me, but being on the left side of the car, it's not like you can scare me by getting me up close to a wall or something. You could scare me by getting real close and flirting with some tractor tires. But I said right below, I think with people complaining about sprint cars being too safe, this should be a new class. That would be an interesting new class, ladies and gentlemen. What if that was a new class? And obviously I'm being a little sarcastic on saying that sprint cars are becoming a little too safe, but a lot of people like to say, oh, well, the sport lost its luster when it became less of a daredevil death sport. People used to come to the races because they used to just wear lap belts, and the advertisement was, come see somebody potentially die today. You know, that's what some of these people who are scapegoating on lackluster promotional ship are actually saying. I think that Tim's got a really good thing going down there with 67 Speedway. It's just in the South, it's really hard to combat against other sports like football and baseball that basically, take over the minds and attention of everyone in the South versus some other areas that football, baseball ain't that big. Kids and people wanting to get into racing is a whole nother game. Down there, it's smothered. But this is an interesting vehicle. I'm going to call it a side-by-side sprint car because two-seater, I mean, it is a two-seater, but it is also technically side-by-side. This thing is extremely unique. This thing is cool. Is this the new next-gen sprint car? Obviously, it has plenty of cockpit room. It will lay over to the left, so flipping towards the right would be really hard. I know Landon, his son, had the issue with Brandon Hanks where they had that contact to the left side of the car, so that might not work out well if that same type of incident was to happen and you're in one of these style of race cars. But I'm assuming this adds some weight, so the flipping might not happen as much. You know, there's more cockpit room. It kind of looks like you're roomy. You could spread out. Maybe you could even bring a few drinks, a bag of snacks, so when you have a long red or a caution, you can just open a drawer and have a little miniature lunch or picnic there on your red flags or something. I'm not sure. But this is actually very unique. Never seen it before. I don't know who else out there has seen this before. I haven't seen it. And potentially, this should be a new class. I think it is a new class. This is what's coming. This is what High Limit needs to adapt. This is the new next-gen sprint car. We gotta start promoting conglomeracy. We gotta start promoting people working together. All this, men versus women, hatred of the new society, lefts and rights, and all this stuff. Just promoting the Canaanite way of life. We gotta be a little bit more able than Cain in today's society. Let's work together in the progression of sprint car racing. Instead of making it a single vehicle race or a single person vehicle, let's make it a dual person vehicle. That way more people can get involved. Maybe the crew chiefs can ride along in the car and kind of make tweaks. You see the adjustments on the midgets and stuff like that. that all these knobs and stuff. And who knows? Maybe that's why some of these guys in the midget department throw these big ass sliders and they don't know what they're doing, and they wreck and they destroy cars. Maybe they were in there trying to make an adjustment and didn't have their hands on the wheel. So this could actually add a lot of safety to the sprint car open wheel racing world. I'm sure you could do a midget version of this. Non-wing sprint cars like this would be a big addition. Once again, the weight to keep the car on all fours. This is just futuristic technology right here that we are slipping on in the dirt track racing world. This is where we need to be going. Sidecar sprint cars, the new age side by side. I think this is where it's at. And I'm definitely down to go riding for this stuff. I got to check the YouTube chat. What are y'all doing? This Michigan game has really got me upset right now. This Michigan game really has me upset. All right. Put some sandbags in that side seat. No more bicycling. Thank you. The new next gen is going to be ETC. I think he means electric. I don't think it's going to end up being electric because we technically in the sprint car racing world are the cleanest racing vehicle on planet Earth. I know some people are stupid and don't understand what I mean by that, but we are a carbon-free vehicle in sprint car racing, and I've been talking about this for 5 or 6 years. That's an angle of promotion for this sport, for these cars that we could be utilizing to promote to society. We are a carbon-free, in the emissions department, vehicle. We run on methanol, which has zero petroleum. It's a non-oil based substance. It does not burn carbon. So we don't have to go electric to be clean and green in sprint car racing. We don't technically run on gasoline that has oil-based substances or oil-based subsidies in the mix. It's methanol. We're clean, carbon-free vehicles. Emerson Biggins says rainouts killed 67 Speedway this year. It definitely did. I know Short Track Nationals is going to be a pretty big event there, and it got taken away. There may be a unsavory reflection on those shades. What's the reflection? I mean, there's a microphone, there's coffee, there's a computer, there's a light. Let's see, what else is it showing? There's a pre-mortal sports card. This is a sports card right here. Will Levis. I don't know anybody who's a Tennessee Titans fan. This is a pre-mortal sports card. This is like a $1,000 card. That's in the reflection. Thinking about sending it to PSA. As Joe taught me, if I send this to PSA, it comes back a 9 or a 10. This is a $8,000 to $10,000 card. $8,000 to $10,000 card. I got it for $30. So breaks are entertaining. Breaks are definitely entertaining in this world. I got some junker cards over here. I don't know what you're seeing in the reflection. My cell phone's here. Got some buds. I don't know what it is. Are you wearing pants? Yes, I'm wearing the Junkyard Dog t-shirt. It is not the Professional Gaslighter t-shirt. This is the Junkyard Dog t-shirt, and it's one of those vintage modifies that they race on the West Coast, the hard tops. This is a hard top t-shirt. Or long sleeve, actually. It is the wintertime or getting close to it. A Briggs and Stratton go-kart. Oh, there was a really nasty race. Left header location. Yeah, I know. Where is the left header? I'm assuming it's at least wrapped by some kind of heat protection. LFG, let's fucking go. Hey, if we want to talk about this go-kart wreck, man, this was not no joke, man. And go-karts are dangerous. I mean, the flat carts are possibly some of the most dangerous race cars I've ever raced. These things are not something to play with. I mean, look at these things. You're not strapped in. They say it's safer to not be strapped in. But, I mean, this is the type of stuff that can happen. I mean, that almost looks, and the person filming this said they're sorry and turned away, but, I mean, look at that. That looks like the Chili Bowl last year, where that guy came out of the car. It's almost the same kind of direction. He laid on the track almost the same way. I mean, flat carts are dangerous, and I know they're affordable and all that, but I've seen the chains come off of these things and slice arms open. I've seen guys flip out on the ground like this, and that can't be good on your neck or your shoulders. I mean, your spine. I mean, back injuries, guys. Chronic back injuries are worse than anything you can experience in life. Like, I remember I tried to lift a couple years ago, I tried to lift a big giant office table. It was probably like 400 pounds. I tried to lift it up on my back, and when I went to go rip it up, I heard a crink, and I mean, I immediately let go as soon as I felt some pressure or whatever, but I let it go, and I mean, yeah, it hurt. It bothered me for a day, but it also hasn't ever went away. Like, there's some periods of the year where I'll feel this, like even right now, I can feel where it happened. You know, chronic back injuries are really bad. It's not really, it's more, for me, it's more so discomfort. It's not as bad as I've heard other people's back injuries can be, but I don't know, man. We need to have some kind of alternative to these vehicles. I know they got those other carts, the champ carts, they call them, with the little cage on top. I would suggest that people definitely look into doing stuff along those lines. The flat carts, I mean, I think flat carts are more dangerous than sprint cars. I'm sorry. They're one of the most dangerous vehicles you can race out there. They just are. There ain't nothing else out there that you could be riding, and then all of a sudden you are flying out, you know? I mean, are we going to compare it to four-wheelers? I mean, even the side-by-side's got a belt and a cage. There ain't no other race car out there. You can literally go 40 to 60 miles per hour, sometimes 80. These flat cars get going and then just fly out onto the ground, out into the wilderness. There's no other car like that. There's no other car where you could be driving there, and then a guy drives over your left rear, pops the chain, and all of a sudden you're driving, and you look down and you hear, and you look over, and your whole arm and bicep and forearm are lacerated open, and you start spewing blood all over the place. I've never seen that happen in these other vehicles. Never seen it. So that's kind of what I would say is, like, with these flat carts, this is the type of stuff that happens all the time. Now, these off-season barn burners and stuff happen, and there's a lot of people with flat carts, and they pay a little money, all that. That's cool. That's fine, I guess, but stuff like this, it is dangerous. I don't know how some of this stuff gets insured. Is it insured? These little barn burners, you know, sometimes old State Farm don't hear about what's happening at the back of it, you know. I don't know. But yeah, flat carts are extremely dangerous in my opinion. Even though I have raced them, it's fun, but there's a lot of risk. I would feel more comfortable strapping into a 410 sprint car, super late, any race car out there. Maybe a Legends car would be close to the same thing, because those are kind of sketchy as far as incidents are concerned. But I would rather be in a 410 sprint car, as dangerous as people think those are, than a flat cart on a high-speed track. At least if something goes bad in a sprint car, I know I'm going to be at least contained. I'm in a seat, prepared to take a hit. I'm in a cage, prepared. I had a racer that I was promoting at one time. He says, I'm all dressed up. I got this helmet. I got this seat. I got this cage. I got all this stuff. I did all this so I could wreck. They got all this so when they wreck, they can survive it. That doesn't equate to the reality of the situation in flat carts. There is nothing protecting you, or you're not prepared to take a hard wreck. Like a sprint car, the chassis, everything they got going on, a late model, it's all built. You're prepared to wreck the shit out of that race car. You're not prepared to wreck the shit out of a flat cart. You wreck the shit out of a flat cart, you can fly off into the damn woods, or fly onto the racetrack, get run over, or like I said, I know some people are like chain guards this, chain guards that. It's still a risk. Still a risk. Regardless, I don't know. What do people think about flat carts? I just don't like them. I think they're extremely dangerous. Yeah, the Champ. They got the Champ carts. The Champ carts have they got I raced Mariah Romig in Pennsylvania. She spun my ass out after I ran her ass down and passed her for the lead. She spun me out in those Champ carts. They got the cage and the actual belt. My friend used to promote the carts in that building at DeCoin. He gave it up because of the consistent fighting. Yeah, there's a lot of crybabies in that too. A lot of crybabies in that flat cart stuff. Dangerous freedom is better than regulations. I mean, I agree, but being consciously aware of life is also not bad. I would pick conscious awareness of life, safety, and care over dangerous freedom. I think that's what you just said is kind of what media does. They take two extremes and say, which one do you want? Do you want the extreme left or the extreme right? Do you want the dangerous freedom or the regulation? Isn't there like some common sense and shit in the middle? Isn't there some fucking common sense in the middle of dangerous freedom and regulation? Is a sprint car not in the middle of those two things? Just saying. Chain guards should prevent that. I've heard about chain guards, but I've also heard those things not necessarily work all the way. The carts are more dangerous because the fighting that takes place. They get baseball bats out. Yeah, I mean, and it's back. I'm not going to be mean here, but it's the classism of the situation. It's a very affordable class. Therefore, you can get some rougher people involved, and it could not work out. But anyway, yeah, it is unfortunate. But flat carts, I mean, I just think champ carts are the better option. More money needs to be put in local tracks for safety. The speeds are getting faster. Your opinion on that? Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. But I feel like the insurance companies are about to take out a lot of racetracks, I think this sport has been in the dark for a long time. And once it starts shedding that light, the light of the regular world, like insurance companies, health, medical, all this stuff is going to start tipping on in. One of the best racetracks in Dallas, Texas was a track named Cowtown Speedway. And I believe it was the EPA came out and shut it down because they found, I think it was roofing shingles or something in the racetrack or like underneath the ground. And they had to have them removed or shut the facility down. Like there's a lot of back to dangerous freedoms or regulations. I mean, there is some regulations that we have to either abide by in expanding our relevance in the world, or the relevance of in the world is gonna shut you down. So I mean, there is still those two extreme examples, but in the middle, like, can't you just do this? Can't you just can't we just have some commonsensical things? I think that's the better way to do it. But I think cars need to be safer. Tracks could be safer as well, but it all takes money. We got to get the relevance out there. We got to build the sport, make it a little bit more popular so we get more money through the front gate. The sport turned into a back gate sport, and that's what ruined it. I started off with the Code Trickle era, but think about after the Code Trickle era, the late 90s, early 2000s slowly became, especially local racing, a back gate show, the rise of IMCA that fed on that back gate and promoted bigger car counts. And those bigger car counts led to less fans in the front grandstands. And that's where that's why the pay increases went away. Old track promotion used to be you paid your purse and a bunch of your shit with the front gate. And the back gate was bonus money. And once that shift happened where the back gate became the money maker and the front gate went away, that's when all this other stuff pay didn't increase and this, that, and the other started to happen. So front gate needs to go up so the tracks can start making money to actually be able to afford to make these adjustments and changes to the racing facilities. Years ago, I agreed to hold a kart practice at my dirt track. Within an hour of announcing it, people I had never met were calling me a motherfucker on Facebook. That's the karting world, I mean, and that's the racing world, and that's the extreme right. I guess I need to say, like Kermit the Frog, that's none of my business, right? Even though I want everything to be a part of my business with these shades on. Boy, your boy with that hair and these shades are legit. Look at that landing strip down the middle almost. You could shine it up real nice and turn it sideways. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to put out a little bit of a quick video. I know Michigan's versus Ohio State's on right now. I know a bunch of people love the college football, but do not sleep on the Turkey Night Grand Prix tonight. It is on Flow Racing. Let me get I'll put y'all's chat up on the screen while I look at the time that race is actually going to take off on Flow Racing, because a lot of people can't get to the West Coast. I know I couldn't make it to the West Coast. It looks like it's going to come on at 5:15 Central Time, which would be 6:15 Eastern, is when the broadcast plans to resume. I'm not sure that's when they're going to start, though. 53 midget race entries. Let's go ahead and look at it. I finally found some entries over here for these midgets. I was looking for them. I was actually looking for the practice list of how they actually tuned out there. But this is your list. Jake Andreotti, Kyle Larson, Terry Nichols, Justin Grant, Jim Van Zant, Corey Day is in a 4-car. It's a white machine with the Sander logo on it. Ryan Timms, Ricky Lewis, keep an eye out for him, winningest sprint car driver in the country, non-wing at least. Shannon McQueen, last year of racing. I saw a very touching interview with Flo with Shannon McQueen, and then she was talking about the women racers of the day and of the past, the ones that influenced her, etc. Talking about this is her final, I believe, race. Is this race? This was her final year racing, and I believe this is her final race. Shannon McQueen, legendary open-wheel racer from the West Coast. Thomas Meserol, Randy Pankratz, Blake Bauer, Spencer Baston is always good in a midget. Michael Facinto's on the list. Keep an eye out for them. You can never sleep on the Facinto family. Mitchell Moles, good West Coast racer. Gage Rucker. Jacob Denny, keep an eye out for him. He's always good. Taylor Reimer. Jake Buback, a surprise entry to me. Jake Buback being over there. He is in that 27 car that you've been seeing him race at the Chili Bowl year after year. So Jake Buback, and it's a gray car, a little bit of a white accent with a red 27. Be interested to see how he does. I believe he did spin out or got collected in practice last night, but a really great race car driver. And it looks like they got a star on his name. Is that a star? Is that my screen a little mushed up? No, yep, that is a rookie little symbol. So rookie is Jake Buback in this event. Chase Johnson, Kyle Billman. Got AJ Hernandez over there from the Arizona area. Brody Fusion, Logan Seavy's over there. Ryan Timms, Buddy Kofoid, Emerson Axum. That's a hell of a list right there. Any one of those three could be your Quinilla for the win. Jade Avedisian, Mariah Eade, good West Coast racer. She's also in a sprint car. A few guys doing double duty here. Bryant Wiedemann, Kenan McIntosh, Gavin Miller, and Carson Macedo is also running it's a gray and blue Dyson Motorsports number 99. So, I mean, if I was to pick 2 or 3 guys, if I was to pick 3 guys, and that's who out of those 3 who could win the race, Kyle Larson, Corey Day. Damn. Let me switch that off. No disrespect to Corey Day. Kyle Larson, Logan Seavey, Buddy Kofoid would be my 3 to win the race. That's what I think. Out of the women, who could be the highest finishing woman? That could be an interesting discussion because we do have quite a few in here. You got Mariah Eade, you got Jade Avedisian. What was the other right up here? Jade Avedisian. You got Shannon McQueen. And Taylor Reimer. Let's see. Out of those 4, I'm thinking there's another female racer, but I'm missing it. I don't know. Could that sprint car experience really pay off for Mariah Eade? And that would be a big upset if Mariah Eade could top Avedisian and Reimer and McQueen. I believe Reimer was actually very quick last night, but Avedisian, you could never count her out. Long shot is Eade. Smart money's on Avedisian. Cross the fingers on McQueen, though. It seemed like a lot of local track experience paid off last night in the sprint car. So don't sleep on Shannon McQueen to possibly do something here in her final race. Going to take a quick look at the chat before we get out of here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Larson CV Timms. Timms is running a sprint car as well. That could help. If anybody wants to send a super chat, it'll definitely help. Or if you want to not give YouTube any of your money and only support me, there is links below to new merchandise. Of course, the professional gaslighter shirts, a bunch of stuff that you could actually pick up on the website. You could get these things, and yeah, I'll get a few bucks off of it, but you'll also get some sort of merchandise or something like that. Hats, shirts, t-shirts, all over prints. The new Gaslighter shirts are out. But also at the bottom of this video, you'll actually see link to PayPal and Venmo if you want to directly support. That way YouTube don't get 40 or 30% of whatever you send, which is kind of messed up, but I get it. Will Timez A, wreck alone, B, get caught up in a wreck, C, wreck on the way to the track, or D, forget to tighten a wheel nut? I think he will. I think Timez is frustrated. Since the RMS split, he hasn't really performed well. That leans towards he's either going to wreck alone or he's going to wreck somebody, in my opinion. I don't think he could get caught in a wreck. He could. I mean, it's a very small track. Anyone could get caught in a wreck at this racetrack. But I just don't know. I'm not sold on him getting caught in a wreck. It sounds like he would more so push the limits, trying to make up for everything, cross the line and wreck alone, or push the limits, take some risks, and potentially wreck someone else. And that's what I think. Gregory Nardone says stacked. Sporty Spice, I don't know what that means. Luke said, love hearing your thoughts. You talk real shit. Well, I try. Real shit doesn't pay the bills. It does. Y'all do watch. Y'all do turn in. It doesn't pay the bill. But I can't get those, big time corporate sponsorships. We got Rayvon up there on the top of the screen. But, even Joe's mad at me because I talk real to him, So anyways. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. If you want to support, go to those links. Get your name up on the top of the screen. I know there's a few people that we haven't got onto the list just yet, but it's updating all the time. I haven't forgot yet. Hopefully it'll be worth it when we finally do get to it. Video of you wheeling the crap out of that sprint car in California. I actually just got an instant message. I mean, we got the Chaz hot laps, the sprint car. I mean, we got it. What y'all want to see? Y'all want to see me run that sprint, the Chaz hot lap sprint car? I don't look horrible. It was my second time ever in a race car. we got my fourth time in a race car. Right here in the modified. This was my first time in a big block style modified right here. Up in New York. We had built this car, literally pulled it out of the grass and built it 2000, I believe it was 2003 Bicknell. And it was like second lap. I dropped that thing right onto the wall. Like second lap. Going a little slow, but it's a little quarter mile, super dry, dusty, not trying to destroy the race car. Car was a little smoky. But this was back in 2021, my racing season, I guess you could call it. But yeah, second lap. We're dropping her off there, kicking the dust up right up on the wall. But yeah, we got the sprint car hot lap. Where is that at? Maybe it's on YouTube. Maybe I haven't put it on, or maybe it's on Facebook. I might not have put it on YouTube yet. So you go to the channel. Let's see here, playlists. Thought there was the Chaz Racing playlist. Yeah, right here. So if you go to the Chaz Racing playlist on YouTube, you're going to come over here and you're going to see all of the racing that I had ever kind of competed in or done. It does look like the sprint car hot lap's not there. I got to fix that. But it's got a bunch of it's got the IMCA modified race where I raced Ricky Thornton Jr.'s modified, came up through the field. Finished okay. That was my technically second race. I consider it my first. The micro that I raced in at IMS, basically my third race, burned a hole in my leg, and I drove around him on the outside to take the lead and was pulling away. Got a late caution and lost the race coming to the white flag. Their national champion passed me coming to the white, and I finished second. I was pretty upset about that, but I may have to come in here and alter this because the sprint car hot lap should be in there. That's bullcrap. So if you go to Facebook to try to find it, you go to the Chaz here on Facebook, which is the page that Facebook took away from me because I called my friend a slut. 20,000 followers. My last post was February 16th, 2021. in St. Augustine, Florida. This is when we were traveling up and down the coast there in Florida Speed Weeks. Went to Daytona, went down to, drove all the way down to Key West, took some pictures, went to Hendry County Motorsports Park the night before. Even got to announce on IMCA TV at Hendry County. That was actually kind of funny. But the Sprint Car Hot Lap video should be in here. Hold on. Chaz Sprint Car Hot Lap. Bam, let's see this. It's got to be in here. That's crazy that it's not. I'm kind of upset now. Okay, here it is. I labeled it deceptively. I was trying to get people to click it, so I named it the Chaz Crashes. This is at Marysville Raceway, and believe it or not, I did not wreck this car, but the guy who was supposed to kind of test it that night, and he did end up racing it, he did wreck the car, and I kind of spliced it around to where it looked like I had wrecked the car. But Marysville Speedway, I think we were here with Michael Sayer. That's the guy named Doug who's going to race the car that night. We were talking about, prior to that, the weight loss, I believe. What was that all about? Okay, anyways. Marysville, California. It was Michael Sayer's race car, him and his daughter Amanda. Very great people over there. Kyle Kirscher, you had him over there helping as a crew member. And then we got to get 6 so-ish laps, I believe it was. And see, this was Doug's hot lap session, which was the guy who was going to race the car. This is the actual sprint car hot laps of the night. And you could see how he was going around the track, kind of, you know, I don't want to say I made this guy kind of look bad, that I just walked in and looked a little better than him. But I mean, in a way, unfortunately, that is kind of what ended up occurring, because he was kind of out of the groove, kind of in the way for some guys. But then after the sprint car hot laps, for fun, I got to get into the car, and you see it right there, the driver swap. And this is my second time ever in a race car. My first time in a race car was 2016. Did extremely well. Went 2/10 faster than the track champion. That was at Devil's Bowl. Kind of a similar situation. I did 10 hot laps. That was after my first 100 pounds was lost. At this point, I'd probably lost about 230 pounds. It's probably 195 pounds at this point. And so we get into the sprint car. First time in sprint car, never been in it at all, period. Get out onto the track. And I had to shake her down just a little bit, you know. Hold on, this is a green flag. Don't be making fun of me, you know. Second time in a race car ever. You know, and we're trying to fill her out. You know, you can't just go in there thinking you're Kyle Larson, you know, and I got some decent driving skill. Go ask Larson and Bell and all them. They know that I can get it done. Even Kyle Larson called me a good race car driver. You know, so this is kind of why, you know, he saw these videos. You know, I'm getting in here. Like I said, I'm dropping her in there a little bit. I don't have much. Like I said, second time ever behind the wheel of any kind of race car. First time ever behind the wheel of a sprint car. I mean, I thought I was doing okay. I didn't, like I said, I didn't mean to make the Doug guy, you know, embarrass him or make him feel subpar or anything like that. But, you know, the sad part was, you know, I wished I would have had a little more laps. I wish I would have got to be able to do the rest of the night, because I could have figured it out, smoothed it out, you know, and just because you got to figure out how the car gets around the track. I felt like after the checkered, you know, I was doing my better jobs, my better laps here. But this was my one and only sprint car deal. I didn't know how to get back to the pits, kind of. And this is lane. It kind of got to me late, so I jumped all the way over it or whatever. But it was fun. Sprint cars are different, man. They drive differently than everything else. Like every other race car that I've got into, you know, it feels like a normal situation. A sprint car is not. With that wing, it's just not. This was the heat race, though. Like I said, I named the video the Chaz Crashes. That made everybody tune in because they wanted me to wreck. And so what actually happened was this guy who was scheduled to race the car that night, he comes in as Michael Sayer's driver. He was thinking about actually buying this car. And unfortunately for him, he comes down here and just I don't know what happened, but yeah, put it in the wall. So that didn't work out for the team or for Michael Sayer. But then I do crash right here. I did not lie. I never lie to my fans. If I say the Chaz crashes, I'm not lying. Because watch, this is what happens. I do crash in this video. See, I'm walking, and then all of a sudden I fell and I crashed onto the ground. That did just happen. So I did not deceive y'all all the way when I put this out in 2019. But see, I fell to the ground. So the Chaz did crash. Just so you know. Just so you fucking know. But anyways, that's on YouTube. I need to put that on Facebook. Or that's on Facebook. I need to put that on YouTube. I might do that today, actually. There's the damage afterwards. But I want to thank the Sayer family and everyone out there, Kyle, for making that happen. That was really cool. I wouldn't mind getting back in a sprint car. I got to lose some weight, though. Slowly put the poundage on. Not since then, but after the racing happened that year, modifieds and everything, that's when I went to PA for Tuscarora and kind of got stranded and started drinking beer with the good old boys in PA and put the poundage back on. So we got to lose the weight to get back in the race cars if we want to do it. It's expensive, and I don't know who would want to put this dumb Chaz guy in the car. Although, me versus Caitlin Larson, buddy. In a race car, or Kyle. I would beat Kyle in anything but a sprint car. I think I could beat him in a sprint car at a couple tries, depending on the track. But I want to hit Kyle when I race him. So I need fenders or something. I want to run him over. But me versus Caitlin in a race car? The betting lines on that could be interesting. Because I hear that Caitlin's a really badass race car driver. We talked about this at Eldora, at the King's Royal, at the Million, actually. And I was like, let's do it. I'll whoop your ass. I will wax your ass up and down the racetrack. She made fun of it and said, well, we should do it in a midget because she knows my fat ass ain't fitting in no damn midget right now. And I said that, and she started laughing with her and her groups of friends as she insulted me being fat after I was 450 pounds, went down to 200 and then put some pounds back on. She makes fun of me. So this is the class that we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, that these people have. But anyways, that's the situation. That's what's going on. That's the situation. A sprint car is just weird. It's just weird. It doesn't drive like a regular race car. Like I said, I got in that modified and dropped it in there. I got in that micro and almost won the fucking race. Got into the IMCA modified, was faster than the driver who drove it before. I'm just saying, a sprint car with the wing, you do things with the car that your eyes and just normal physics tell you not to do because of the wing. The wing does stuff as if you're in the air, not on the ground. So it's just different like that. Can you get Dominic on sometime? Love that guy. He's fun like you, bro. Well, let me screenshot that. I'm going to send that to Dominic because I did try to get Dominic on when Gio Selzy was on the gravel show. I told him I was going to go message Dominic because he deserves to, have some glamour on YouTube too. And Dominic didn't want to. He said he's trying to stay out of the drama in this all season. He just wants to have fun with his family. So that's the answer I got. I think at track events, live interviews will provide the at-track experience. We need getting to know the driver, making them superstars, yes. But throughout the week, promotions are also big for local racetracks. Like I got cardboard cutouts of race car drivers and put them in nightclubs and put them at stores and stuff. Actually getting a facial recognition with the race car and the person so that people want to come and see them. Make them iconic. You got to turn these people into icons. And that's the situation that we are dealing with. Thanks, Chaz, for keeping it real. Oh, thank y'all for tuning in. I know we didn't get no super chats. Hey, that's not a big damn deal. It's fun to talk to y'all. It's a Saturday. I'm going to go see what's happening with the football games for the rest of the day. Football games for tomorrow. Monday, we got some guests in the works for next week. And when I 100% confirm them, we will get it done. Names on the list, potential list to come onto the Chaz. Billy Dietrich is one. Brian Brown is one. Rick Swale with the Lucas Oil late model series is one. And I'm thinking Ashton Winger. We'll see if it can all happen. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not join the support, once again, you can go to the website, get some gear. Helps out just a little bit. And Also, links in the description for PayPal, Venmo if you don't want to join the membership on the channel and give YouTube 30%, although the memberships are down there. But I will treat you the same no matter which way you send it. So anyways, support is what matters here in my way of talking, my comedy flair with a little bit of an opinion. And I guess some people get offended on my opinion. It's hard to get corporate support. This is kind of like a public service funding style. So almost like a politician, you know, publicly sourced and funded is somewhat the situation. But your viewership alone is also that funding and service and support. So you don't necessarily have to send a damn thing. I ain't going to treat you any better or any worse. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. It was fun. Be sure to like the video, comment below, share it around. Once again, memberships. And as always, be sure to subscribe. We will catch you next time.
We can ride high, we can ride low. We can ride anywhere we need to go. We can ride all night up to the morning, as long as we make the show. We can be the best, so we can